LeBron James sticking to politics. I'm convinced LeBron James got the idea to sport a fake news cast during the NBA playoffs from Michelle Obama after she threatened to break her arm in Obama's ass next time he dared to offer Beyonce a glass of Paul Newman's lemonade over a batch of her homemade kombucha. I love the NBA when it didn't exist as a safe space for LeBron James' ego. Refs are scared of calling traveling on LeBron James because they don't want to be accused of oppressive racial profiling during Game 7 in the NBA Finals against the Boston Celtics. Ref Duffy says, "Relax, king of the persecution complex. I just called traveling on you. Stop acting like I threw you up against the wall for being out past lights out on Newberry Street." If LeBron James loses to the Clippers this year, will Obama console himself by digging into his secret stash of Almond Joys in the garage behind a box of duct tape from Costco? Joan lives! If Obama is such a baller at basketball, then why did he ride the bench at an all-Asian private school in Hawaii? LeBron admits to liking Eminem now because he's a never-Trumper rapper resistor. Trump's a Nazi, bro. Actually, when Trump bought Mar-a-Lago, he immediately lifted the permanent ban on Jewish membership. Slim on Fact Shady. This is Eminem and Dr. Dre discussing the merger between Microsoft and LinkedIn. Dre says, "Hey, Slim, Microsoft paid $4.7 billion for LinkedIn." Word! LinkedIn is lamer than ever, yo. But LeBron is boys with Snoop Dogg also, which makes him a class act through association, knowing Snoop Dogg's brain hovers a notch above Pornhood hell. LeBron James' boy Jay-Z says he didn't stand for the national anthem because he was protesting Demi Lovato brutalizing the national anthem, sounding too much like a white privilege version of Alabama Shakes in the process. Meanwhile, the Queen of England is at home at Buckingham Palace watching the Super Bowl, seeing Beyonce sit her ass out for the national anthem, thinking, I thought Meghan Markle was a world pain in the ass. But trying to hawk Princess Diana's ballerina slippers on eBay after Michelle Obama stretched them out beyond repair. Joan lives. Can I get a holla for Joan living in a very compressed fashion in this amazing monologue that you'd never do because you never did sports jokes, but this is for you, babe. Holla! LeBron doesn't want NBA owners who pay his salary to be called owners because he isn't a player owner like Michael Jordan yet, nor is he talented enough like Magic to make HIV disappear. A new rumor is LeBron James might run for president of the United States. What's going to be King James' campaign slogan? Free college for student athletes? Wait a minute. That already exists. That's right. King James will offer free college for all dreamers if they let him patent Taco Tuesday already. Can I get a holla for that A-plus Gemry? You're never going to hear from Blob Brett Bill Simmons. Not in this lifetime or the next. Holla! I realize that I'm completely ruining my surging comedic stature by mentioning myself in the same breath as Putz Face Blob Brain Bill Simmons. Holla! But he's boys with Jeff Ross, so that means that he must be an official authority on the most hilarious You're the Michael Jordan of roast, bro. God. This is Jeff Ross roasting Jim Acosta at the CNN Correspondents' Dinner. I'm making it up. Jeff Ross roasting Jim Acosta. So the CNN to shove a mic in front of anyone with good hair who doesn't look too Tommy Lee alt-rightish. I would love to get Tommy Lee's son on the Do It All Dead Year podcast at some point. He doesn't talk to his dad anymore. Apparently he beat the shit out of Tommy Lee. I don't know if Tommy fought back or not, but they're non-speaking terms. So if Tommy Lee's son was on my show, the Do It All Dead Year podcast, I'd say, so why don't you talk to your dad anymore? It's got to be brutal for Tommy. Like, what happened exactly? Are you not talking to him because like he blew off all like your baseball games as a kid because you would strike out more than Charlie Sheen does these days at an AVN afterwards party? Holla! AVN awards party. Just does not roll off the tip of the tongue. But LeBron James has already stood for the Chinese national anthem and instructed his Laker team to sit out the anthem. That's right. He's protesting police brutality compared to mowing down monks and tanks and criminal justice reform. His boy Jigga played 0.0 role interacting, despite his past crack selling years responsible for sending hundreds, if not thousands, of young black babies into premature hell. LeBron wants to become president of the United States so bad just so he could tell Laura Ingraham to stick to being a less ghoulish Ann Coulter. So before the Doodle Dad Year podcast, for you longtime fans, I started performing a speech that I'm planning to do, a TED Talk called Joy is Not Bombing at Parenting. And I'm going to give you some more meat from that speech. And today, because we're feeling extra loosey-goosey, we're going to call it Doodle Dads Matter. Can I get a holla for Mr. Headline Hooker, star, personified, long time, holla! Here we go. Famous humorist Victor Borge said, laughter is the shortest distance between two people. So my main idea worth teaching dads is the importance of being funnier around their kids and to teach you how controlling our kids' economy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, most of the time, are living proof of it. Can I get a holla for my catchphrase that never get old, that all you TED Talk people can enjoy wholeheartedly? Mom's never heard of TED Talk. That's okay. Just add that to the list of other stuff that she won't understand or appreciate when I eventually star in and go viral. Holla! I still love you, Mom. Just bust some balls. Holla! Here we go. I understand that you can't really give a shit about my comedic aspirations until I start bringing home the bacon and not the veggie kind either. Holla! Being funny around your kids is important because it's a difference between being a do-it-all dad and bombing at parenting, which is your kids never wanting to seek out your own company again. Do-it-all dads matter because 70% of African Americans who end up in jail are a result of fatherless homes, despite do-it-all grandma's best efforts. If I could do it all over again, I would have substituted my whiny Jewish grandma for like a wise black grandma at my wedding. Posting out on Craigslist. Tyler Perry impersonators are welcome. Must be comfortable performing in front of white audiences only. I would not plan on doing that joke for my TED Talk. Do-it-all dads matter because only 1 out of 3 kids today live with their dads. And you wonder why college campuses today require safe spaces to soothe student nerves with Play-Doh whenever Big Bad Ben Shapiro is in town, who is the second least threatening Jew on the planet after Chelsea Clinton's fiance. I don't know who the first one would be. Use your imagination. Do-it-all dads matter. The Williams sisters, Tiger Woods, Lonzo Ball, and the late great Kobe Bryant can all attribute a larger portion of their success to super involved do-it-all dads. Still, most of us, including myself, can't even jump over a stapler, let alone dunk out at the Staples Center on TNT for a living. Granted, not all our kids are blessed with God-given natural athletic ability, which is outside of our control. Which is why my dad, to this day, calls me a waste of height, because the highlight of my basketball career in high school was scoring 10 points against an all-Japanese team that played for some private school in like Westchester County. And every time I drove to the hoop, their players ran away scared from me, like they were mini movie extras in a Godzilla film, except instead of saying, "Look, Godzilla," they'd say, "Look, Hugh Grant on stilts." But what's in Dad's control is how he chooses to interact with his children during the limited time he has, so he can become a consummate scene stealer on his own. And that is through being funnier around his kids and making them laugh more than Ted from accounting. No offense, Ted. I'm positive you can be funnier around your kids too. Just not at, my sort of frequency. Because funnier dad, happier baby. You want a photo op, old man? Start using comedy on your kids early, even when they can only string 2 words together. My old routine at the deli with my daughter was this: "Matilda, what did Tyson Chandler give the Knicks?" She'd say, "Bupkis, Daddy, bupkis." "The rod, gotta raise the rod. Breitbart peeps, gotta raise the rod." Didn't work out too well for Michael Jackson, and helicopter parents raised a generation of kids suffering from anxiety who attend pill parties for fun with 13 reasons on vinyl, would take offense at everything, giving the impression they never had a sense of humor to lose in the first place. Controlling your kids' economy is the sweet spot in the middle. And by the way, Dave Chappelle, black supremacist incarnate, how did you defend Michael Jackson again against his Neverland Accusers on your last Netflix special for like $40 million? What'd you say? All the Beatles royalty points in the world couldn't buy Michael love? Can I get a holla for dumping on the black supremacist incarnate Dave Chappelle? Because it's deserved. Because this is Dave Chappelle defending R. Kelly. R. Kelly, he's a black Elvis. Well, we could bladder control. Ah! So, I was talking about The Rod and Michael Jackson and helicopter parents and kids today who attend pill parties for fun with 13 Reasons on vinyl. So when you play that record backwards, when you play, and by the way, I never saw that documentary or listened to the record, 13 Reasons Why, but are Rebel crashes into Imperial Star Destroyers included? Just curious. And also, when you actually play 13 Reasons on vinyl backwards, do you hear the lead singer, Trent Reznor, say, sell your soul to Apple and you'll become a more well-adjusted middle-aged adult who still rocks the leather better like no other? So, hey, Breitbart people, was that a little too overtly homosexual for you? Complimenting how a man rocks a leather coat? I think so. So, The Rod. Let's move away from The Rod already. How did I come up with my concept of controlling my kids' economy? One day, my 4-year-old son was ranting and raving about going to daycare, and I was intent on writing new jokes as usual from home for my Do It All Dad Year podcast. We're looking after his newborn baby brother. Trying to make the universe laugh for a living, I slapped my 4-year-old son Arthur on the bum with mild force. My windup was 2 Mississippi Max. Later in the car, the fear of God engulfed my soul as my son tells me, I'm never talking to you ever again. Now, I was bombing a parenting. Can I get a holla for a dramatic, awesome, lucid prose transition? Holla! Because for me, bombing a parenting is your kids never seeking out your company again. But then my improv 101 training from UCB in Second City kicked into full gear, and I started to hit my own bum in the car with the fake news spatula. I said, Art Show, my nickname for my son Arthur. I got it. Next time I get angry, I'll whip my own ass. Although, I don't use the word ass because kids repeat naughty curse words. Your kids do. My kids do, at least. They repeat my naughty curse words. So I'll make up funnier, safe space alternatives like anus hole, that sort of thing. You're welcome! So the more I start whipping my own anus hole while driving my son to pre-K with real menacing fury, my son's tears began to subside. And I won my loved son back through controlling my son with comedy, which is why getting more laughs from your kids is serious business. And the difference between winning your kids back and bombing at parenting forever. Can I get a holla for Mr. Ted? If you reject this talk because of my pro-Trumpian leanings, it's your loss forevermore. Holla! So, again, famous humorist Victor Borge says laughter is the shortest distance between two people. So make your kids laugh more if you care about getting closer to your kids and not bombing at parenting like Tommy Lee. How can you control your kids better with comedy? So glad you asked. You're like, okay, I got it. Your kids are wonderful, happier dad. I'm sorry, funnier dad, happier baby. So it's a wonderful book. Can I get some practical tips already besides the fake news spot for a bit? Because I'm dying over here. I have to post my own thoughts on thought leadership on LinkedIn. Okay, so can we get to it? How can you control your kids better with comedy? So glad he asked. Here we go. Talk to your kids like mini adults, even in public. If my baby thinks I'm Stop and Shop in Mayapack in her shopping cart, and Tifa's going to stalk me now, I'll clarify the depths of his poo and say to my son aloud, Samuel, did you go stink? Son says, I went Peppa Poo Rock. And I'll reply with, smells more like all out of yuck. Can I get a holla for A+ nicknames describing the different categories of my son's number 2s? Holla! Son's, I'm repeating myself. But like I said, smells more like all out of yuck to me. Samuel, Chosen Curls, that's the name of my son, was bound to, woo! But Dr. Seuss peaked early, so it's never too late for you to create some funny nicknames to describe your kids' dumps too. If my son just pees, I'll drop his nappy on the floor at home from way up high for dramatic funny impact. If it makes a dense plop sound, I'll start singing, Big Ploppin'. Warrant lives. So silly names for your kids, number one, number twos, is a way to control your kids' economy in no time. At the same time, dads in the audience are thinking, I'm going to work all day and don't have the time or luxury to work from home like you, which makes sense because only 3.2% of American men do. I get it. Our president commented on never having to change his kids' diapers because he was too busy becoming a billionaire 3 times over. I wish I could make that claim because it would mean I had my shit together for a change instead of being an unemployed stay-at-home comedian dad who's been fired more than a Palestinian slingshot, who's been left with no choice but to start selling homes for a living, which I'm actually pretty excited about. It's definitely capitalism in its like purest form. God forbid I actually earn a commission check and be able to cash it for once in my life. F you, IT headhunter's boss that's never made that a reality for me. Although Eric Newman always made that possible for me. So thank you, Eric Newman. And I was able to get that, and I was able to make that happen at Segula. So basically, Robert Half screw me, for the most part. The most important part to controlling your kids' economy and making them laugh more is to stop taking yourself so seriously, and to let your own hair down at home with your limited stage time with your kids. Quitting Twitter and Facebook is a step in the right direction. I don't miss my joke gems getting retweeted one bit. Making out with your kids' stuffed animals like Pineapple Pretty is an effective way to control your kids' better economy. You develop your own improv routines. One of mine is making out with Pineapple Pretty, my daughter's stuffed animal. But I set the stage a bit, saying, ooh, Pineapple Pretty, you're so pretty. I can't control myself around you, Pineapple Pretty. Before I start to pretend making out with my daughter's stuffed animal, Pineapple Pretty. While making plenty of oohing and ahhing sounds in the process. Oh, Pineapple Pretty. Oh. My daughter always defends Pineapple Pretty's honor and starts pulling Pineapple Pretty away from me, saying, don't even think about it, Daddy. Another way to control your kids' economy is to fly to your kids in a mode about their inspired laugh out loud ad-libs, which make you laugh a long time, so you embolden your kids' comedic expressiveness. Like when your 5-year-old son yells at your faulty voice-powered speaker and says, Cortana, throw yourself out the window already. Or this morning where my son is playing with magnet tiles, and I said, he made this pool, and he made a diving board. I said, make a kiddie pool. And he says, okay, I'll start rounding up the yellow. Can I get a holla for my son absorbing my comedic leanings and for his ad-libs totally overshadowing anything Dad's ever done? Holla! This happened this year. I'm going to quote my son, Arthur, Archo again. So this is him pushing me to finish me writing my self-published book, Control My Kids' Economy, a Love Story. Already done, available on Amazon. Audio comes out in April. And my son says, Daddy, be funnier than Weird Al by Christmas or I'll kill you with our sharpest knife for real. And then later, my son did the intro for my Duo Daddy Your podcast episode where he says, be funnier than Weird Al or boo, hack, get out the stage, da-da. So by involving your kids into the magic of comedy creation, they develop a greater sense of funny and desire to make their doodle dads laugh more too. Also, darker is always funnier. Like the Stinky Cheese Man story for kids, which is a picture book tale about a married couple who was lonely, so they create a baby, known as the Stinky Cheese Man. But end up kicking him out of the house because he stinks up the house and makes your stomach sick. Also, another way to make your kids laugh more is to give a voice to like dramatize concerns of your kids. For example, one time I gave my son Arthur a friendly hip toss top of our bed, and his bouncy ball spine almost catapulted him into the dresser as he bounced off the bed. I understand at first my son was just had freaked out by the experience, but through using humor, I lightened the mood and said, who put a bouncy ball in your spine when I wasn't looking? And my son laughed. Now, when I ask my son if he wants an elevator drop in the bed, I'll dramatize his concern before I give him the elevator drop, assuming my son's voice saying, don't drop me from too high up, Dada. I have a ball stuck in my spine, remember? It's a bouncy one. And I can riff off that funny imagined concept forever, which your kids will participate in to keep the scene alive between you two. So not only assuming your kid's voice, but imagining things that don't exist, like a bouncy ball in your son's spine, or there being a yellowtail sushi roll in your newborn's knee, will get your kids laughing and closer to you in no time. I'll go to give my newborn son Samuel Chosen Curls who's bound to woo a Ninosh and say, you got any more yellowtail in there? And he'll say, no, but I've got salmon and avocado in there though. Another way to control your kids' economy is by teaching them funny words in Yiddish. Babyface Omar from Minnesota just tuned out. And Yiddish is a very colorful, expressive language, which makes your kids funnier and more likable to be around. Also, for example, whenever our internet goes out while the kids are watching a show on Hulu or Amazon Prime, my baby boy Samuel will take a sock off and throw it at the TV and yell, "Gavolt!" which means, "Oh my, not again." Babyface Omar got elected by Minnesota. Again, Gavolt. She married her brother. Who cares? Gavolt. Or if my daughter farts 3 times in a row from Field Roast Burger Night, I'll say, "Gavolt, Gavolt, Gavolt," in rapid succession. Normally, this results in my daughter singing Rose, hitting me in the arm repeatedly with full-blown menacing fury, but it's worth it. I'm also not saying "Gavolt, Gavolt, Gavolt" with malicious, self-esteem hampering intent, like my father calling me a waste of height growing up while coaching me in junior rec basketball. Another way to control your kids' comedy is to make fun of how crappy their art teacher's name is that they actually have in real life in elementary school, such as Mrs. Outhouse. And you can use the glorious power of the callback and say, "Miss Outhouse, what kind of name is that? Is Stinky Cheeseman her soulmate?" And never underestimate the power of surprise. I do this routine called Falling Putsy Apple Tree, where my son is lying on the bed, and I'll say, "Falling Putsy Apple Tree, part 2! And I'll playfully drop my head into my son's midsection twice. Then I'll throw off the rhythm and surprise him with "Falling Putsy Apple Tree, 4, 5, 6, Booyah Tribe," and ram my head into his midsection, getting my son to laugh long time. Now, whenever my son watches the Death Star get blown up again in Star Wars New Hope, he'll say, "Booyah Tribe, Dada," which never grows old. So don't shy away from using old school hip hop lingo to control your kids better with comedy, because it never gets old hearing your daughter refer to the past tense as old school or back in the day either. I get it. Most dads don't feel positive about their roles as fun makers around their kids, but just make an extra effort to prize funny over money at home and try to make your kids laugh more. And you'll start getting more smiles from the window when you come home and more hugs from behind. Because kids love back with 10 times more emotional oomph when you make them feel like the center of your universe instead of the reverse. Can I get a holla amen? Holla for the ages. Kid Rock, can you get back to me already? I'm a huge fan. I know you love my material. Been to the White House twice. Maybe you invite me for a third time around. Holla! I don't want to be best supporting dad. That's like winning best side bitch. So take more creative chances at home and try bossing through clowning around your kids and prize funny over money at home, and stop being so willing to outsource the totality of your kids' entertainment to Baby Yoda and the malign millennial Mouseketeer grandson of Darth Vader, the most petulant, annoying addition to an ex-iconic franchise I could give 2 BB-8 shits about. Social justice is dad proving he's got drive to outshine scary mommy at home, intent on growing closer with his kids through comedy, even if it's only for 5 minutes of stage time before he tucks his kids in at night. So do it all, Dad Nation. Make the most of your stage time with your kids. Bombing at parenting isn't funny when you're the one doing it, which is why getting laughs is serious business, because you make your kids laugh, the closer you'll get. Controlling our kids' comedy can make our kids great again. My 3 fuss-free kids, most of the time, are living proof of it. Thank you. And I'll talk to you guys soon.